You don't need a designer logo to smell like luxury. These 10 clone fragrances smell like you just stepped out of a private jet, but cost less than dinner for two. If you want to smell rich without going broke, keep watching, because most guys have no idea these even exist. Number 1. Paris Corner Pendora Scents Imperial Oud, the boardroom beast. If you want to smell like legacy wealth, the kind of guy who doesn't just attend shareholder meetings, but chairs them. Imperial Oud by Paris Corners. Pendora's scents line is a scent you need in your rotation. It's a refined clone of Initio Oud for greatness, but honestly, I'd argue this version has a smoother wearability curve for the average frag head. You're hit right up front with a commanding blast of saffron, the note of royalty, and it's quickly followed by a soft touch of lavender that keeps things clean, never medicinal. Then the oud rolls in, but, and this is the key, it's not the harsh synthetic oud you get from a lot of budget brands. This is a silky, almost transparent oud that gives depth without turning the scent into a skunky mess. Paris Corner clearly invested in making this clone feel mature, upscale, and free of that screechy edge some clones suffer from. I wore Imperial Oud to a winter networking event at a high-end hotel. Everyone was in suits and dresses. I didn't say a word about what I was wearing, but 5 people came up and complimented the scent. One guy asked if it was Creed. Another asked if it was something by Roja. That's the kind of confusion you want. Performance: 10 to 12 hours on skin, and even longer on clothing. The sillage projects strongly for the first few hours, then simmers down into a skin scent that lingers in your bubble. When to wear it? This is cold weather territory. Fall, winter, or spring nights, business meetings, weddings, upscale dinners, anywhere you want to come off as a man of substance. Pro tip: spray once on the back of your neck and once inside your blazer lapel. The fabric holds the scent beautifully and releases little wafts as you move. That's how you smell rich without being loud. 2. Lattafa Maahir Legacy Silky Suede and Arabian Royalty. There are inspired by fragrances, and then there are scents that reinterpret a DNA and make it even more wearable. That's what Maahir Legacy does. It's Lattafa's spin on Tom Ford's Tuscan leather, but here's the twist. They smoothed out the rough edges and gave it an almost suede-like softness. Where Tuscan leather can sometimes feel a little too bold, think ashtray meets raspberry jam, Maahir Legacy refines it. You still get that delicious fruity leather up top, but it sweetens just enough with florals and vanilla to keep things elegant, not edgy. The leather in this fragrance doesn't bark, it purrs. It smells like the inside of a Bentley. Clean, plush, luxurious. It's less about domination and more about quiet power. I wore this to a cocktail bar in the city last fall. Dim lighting, live saxophone, well-dressed people. A woman next to me literally asked, "What cologne is that? It smells like wealth." I just smiled. That's Maahir Legacy in action. Performance: 8 to 9 hours. Projects moderately for the first 2 to 3 and sits closer after that, which makes it intimate and perfect for close encounters. When to wear it: fall and winter evenings. It shines in dim lighting, lounges, cigar bars, jazz nights, dinner dates. Pro tip: want to amp up the richness? Layer it with a tiny spray of vanilla-based fragrance like Al Rehab's Soft, or even a tiny bit of vanilla oil. The combo smells like high-end dessert, wrapped in suede. 3. Armaf Club de Nuit Elixir, the Alpha's cologne. Let's be honest, Armaf's CDNIM changed the game for clones, but Club de Nuit Elixir takes things a step further. This isn't just another Aventus homage, it's Aventus plus spice, depth, and modern masculinity. Think of the Aventus DNA: pineapple, smoke, musk, but now imagine layering that with lavender, pepper, leather, and a smooth vanilla amber finish. This thing has complexity. It opens with an attention-grabbing burst of citrus and fruit, but within 15 minutes, it darkens. And that dry down? Creamy, woody, and dangerously seductive. It's the kind of scent that says, "I run the room," but without yelling it. How I use it: this is my go-to for high-stakes first impressions, client meetings, upscale date nights, or when I walk into a room full of guys in Sauvage and want to differentiate myself. It smells familiar enough to feel safe but richer and more developed. Performance: strong. I easily get 10+ hours with solid projection for the first 3 to 4. But a warning: go easy on the trigger. 2 sprays too many, and it can overwhelm. When to wear it: this one's a year-round beast. Cool spring nights, crisp fall mornings, even summer evenings. Just adjust the spray count. Pro tip: want an Aventus-style frag that's less harsh and more grown man? CDN Elixir is the one. If Aventus is your tuxedo, Elixir is your tailored leather jacket. 4. Fragrance World. Barakkat Rouge 540. The Sweet Millionaire. The Barakkat Rouge. 540 DNA is everywhere these days, but most clones either go overly sweet, overly synthetic, or just fall flat. Fragrance World's version? It's shockingly good for the price. From the first spray, you get that signature saffron and ambergris hit. Airy, sweet, and slightly burnt sugar-esque. But here's what surprised me. The dry down is smooth, not chemical. It maintains that famous skin scent quality that makes Barakkat so addictive. It's the kind of scent that makes people do a double take. Not because it's loud, but because it lingers. It hangs in the air around you like a whisper of opulence. I've had people ask if I'm wearing BR 540 when I was wearing this. No exaggeration. Unisex? Technically, yes. But if you're a guy, it gives this aura of effortless charm. Like a man who travels often, tips well, and smells like he lives in a marble suite. Performance, 7 to 8 hours on skin. Even better on clothes. Moderate projection. Perfect for intimate settings. When to wear it? Great for spring, summer nights, or indoor events. I've worn this to weddings, summer parties, even casual brunches, and it always hits. Pro tip: if you want to make it more masculine, layer this with a musky or woody base. I pair it with Rasasi's Woody for Men, or even a drop of Haramain Amber Oud for added edge. 5. Afnan Supremacy. Not only intense, the CEO's signature. Let's talk gravitas. If you want to walk into a room and smell like you just made a 7-figure decision over espresso in silence, Afnan Supremacy. Not only intense is the scent that speaks before you even open your mouth. This one is heavily inspired by Creed Aventus. Yes, that ultra-famous, ultra-expensive pineapple smoke powerhouse. But here's the thing. Supremacy, not only intense, doesn't just chase Creed. It actually evolves it. Right out of the gate, you get that familiar burst of fruity pineapple and blackcurrant. But then the scent quickly pivots. You start picking up dry, smoky birch, a hint of bergamot, and even a soft musk that gives the whole thing structure. There's something more grounded, more complex here than the average Aventus clone. I once wore this during a high-level client pitch. Everyone else smelled like Bleu de Chanel or Dior Sauvage. I didn't say a word about my scent, but halfway through, the marketing director leaned in and said, "You always smell like you've got something figured out." Mission accomplished. Performance. Easily 9 to 10 hours. Strong projection for the first 3, then it settles into a confident, masculine trail. It clings to clothing like a luxury overcoat. When to wear it? Versatile. Year-round wear, but it shines in spring and fall. Use it for meetings, dates, power lunches, or even weddings where you want to smell upscale without screaming for attention. Pro tip: layer with a tiny spray of vanilla or amber scent for a warmer, more sensual dry down. This can turn an already luxurious scent into a personal signature. 6. Lattafa Asad. Dark elegance on a budget. This is the one that gets mistaken for a designer frag, constantly. Lattafa Asad is a bold, mysterious clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir, and it's one of the best dark fougères in the cheap scent space right now. Forget the sharp, metallic freshness of standard Sauvage. This is the grown-up version. Warm cinnamon, lavender, amber, and a touch of sweetness that leans sexy, not sugary. There's even a whisper of incense in the background that gives it a spiritual depth. This is what you wear when you want to smell expensive but a little dangerous, like someone who vacations in Monaco but might also own a motorcycle. I first wore this to a late dinner at a luxury steakhouse. I had it on my pulse points. Nothing crazy. Within 15 minutes, our waitress circled back twice to ask what fragrance I was wearing. She said it reminded her of something her ex wore, only way more expensive. That's clone culture at its best. Performance. This stuff lasts. I get 12+ hours on skin, no problem. Massive projection for the first 2 to 3 hours. You'll smell it in your hoodie the next day. When to wear it? Best for cooler weather. Fall, winter, chilly spring nights. Evening events, upscale parties, or just whenever you want to feel like you've got edge and refinement. Pro tip: want to soften it a little for daytime use? Try layering it with something fresh and citrus-based, like Lattafa's own Najdia, or even a spritz of Armaf Nuit on top. It's a layering hack that gives Asad versatility. 7. Rasasi Hawas for him. The yacht life vibe. Now we're shifting gears. Let's talk about Rasasi Hawas, a scent that doesn't just smell expensive, it smells international. This is your vacation in a bottle. We're talking linen shirts, ocean breeze, and first-class flights to somewhere with palm trees and $25 cocktails. Hawas is often compared to Invictus Aqua, but this goes beyond that. You get a juicy citrus opening with notes of bergamot, pear, and apple, but what makes it sing is the soft aquatic note and powdery musk underneath. It smells clean, crisp, and effortless, but with enough complexity that it doesn't come off like your average gym scent. This is my go-to for resort days, poolside lunches, or luxury cruise evenings. It's that rich guy at ease vibe. Casual but elevated. Think of it as wearing a $300 white tee and slides, but in scent form. Performance 6 to 8 hours depending on your skin. Project strongly early on, then becomes a smooth skin scent. When to wear it? Perfect for spring and summer, especially daytime. Works in casual and semi-formal situations. It's playful but polished. Pro tip: if you want to amplify the aquatic freshness, layer it with a spritz of anything with sea notes. Nautica Voyage or even a salty citrus like Haramain. Détour Noir can work surprisingly well. 8. Maison Alhambra, Kismet Angel, velvet dessert for the elite. Now, for something sweeter, if you've been sleeping on Kismet Angel by Maison Alhambra, you're missing one of the best gourmand-style clones in the game. This is a thick, luxurious clone of by Killian's Angel's Share, which retails for over $200. Kismet Angel gets you 90% of the way there for a tenth of the price. It opens with warm cinnamon and boozy cognac, then slides into a decadent heart of tonka bean, vanilla, and a cozy praline base. It smells like luxury dessert at a 5-star restaurant, but on skin, it somehow feels elegant, not juvenile. I wore this at a winter house party, and no less than 3 people told me I smelled like someone they'd want to cuddle. That's the effect. It's intimate, cozy, and totally addictive. Performance, 10+ hours, easily. It has serious stick, and it'll fill a room for the first hour or so. If you spray it on your scarf, you'll still smell it next week. When to wear it? Cold weather only. This is too rich for hot days. Perfect for evenings by the fire, date nights, or luxury events where you want to feel like you're wrapped in cashmere. Pro tip: use this one sparingly. 1 or 2 sprays max. Overdo it and you'll choke yourself out. It's that rich. For a killer combo, layer it with a straight-up woody scent like Armaf's Bucephalus 11 to add some dryness and contrast. 9. Paris Corner, Emir Le Noir, quiet luxury in a bottle. There's something undeniably powerful about subtlety. That's what Le Noir from Paris Corner's Emir collection embodies, the art of quiet luxury. Inspired by Yves Saint Laurent tuxedo, this fragrance doesn't shout for attention, it simply commands it. From the moment you spray, you're met with this silky combination of violet leaf, rose, and a soft patchouli backbone that smells tailored and smooth. There's this cool spice, somewhere between black pepper and ambergris, that gives it elegance with an edge. This isn't loud, mass appeal sweetness. This is refined, mature, and slightly mysterious. If you've ever worn Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver or Lalique Encre Noire and thought, I wish this had just a bit more modern richness, this is that fragrance. I wore Le Noir to a small art gallery event where most people were dressed in all black, sipping wine, and pretending not to notice each other. Someone brushed past me, paused, and turned around just to say, "You smell like Paris." Enough said. Performance, moderate but refined. 7 to 8 hours longevity with a soft but steady projection bubble for the first 2 to 3. This isn't beast mode, but that's the point. It's personal luxury. A scent bubble, not a foghorn. When to wear it? Fall and winter are ideal. Perfect for events where you want to project elegance. Think date nights, dinners, upscale casual parties, or even dressed-up office settings. Pro tip: this is a fragrance that thrives when worn on cashmere, wool, or layered fabrics. Spray it directly onto your scarf or sweater. Those natural fibers really let the scent unfold. 10. Haramain, Amber Oud Tobacco Edition, Velvet Smoke and Gold. Now let's step into something richer, deeper, and moodier. Amber Oud Tobacco Edition by Haramain is a beautifully crafted clone of Tobacco Vanilla by Tom Ford. But let me be very clear, this is not some watered-down sweet bomb. This is opulence. This is seduction. This is a gentleman with a whiskey tumbler in hand and a mahogany cigar box on the table. You open with this wave of warm spiced tobacco, laced with vanilla, dried fruits, and a touch of cacao. But unlike some overly sweet tobacco scents that go syrupy, this one holds steady with a dry backbone. Woody, slightly smoky, and elegant. It's less of a sugar rush and more of a velvet hug. I wore this to a rooftop whiskey tasting in late October. Everyone there had on designer coats and watches, but I smelled like I owned the building. That's the vibe here. Elite, masculine, and just a touch dangerous. Performance: 12+ hours without blinking. Projects solidly for 4 to 5 hours, then becomes this warm, intimate scent trail that sticks to you like your favorite jacket. When to wear it? Cold weather only. Best in fall and winter, especially evenings. Think nights out, special occasions, or anytime you want to feel powerful and irresistible. Pro tip: this is a layering beast. For extra depth, combine it with a drop of oud oil, or a leathery scent like Armaf's Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition. The combo will make you smell like a $500 bottle, minimum. And the truth is, some of the best reactions I've ever had came from the scents that cost a fraction of the designer price. These fragrances, they're not hype. They're smart picks that perform, get compliments, and make you smell like money without spending it. You'll find all the links in the description. Trusted sellers, great prices, even a few discovery sets if you want to test the waters. If you're building a collection or just want one scent that makes people ask what you're wearing, these are the ones to grab. Smell like a gentleman without spending like one. Stick around, we've got more no BS clone fragrance gems coming your way.